Hi Aries, this is your self-love reading. Please keep in mind that this will not resonate for every single Aries out there. Alright, let's get started. So Aries, as you can already tell, I went and pulled a card for you guys to kind of get the understanding of what perhaps the theme might be. What we got here was courage. Divine courage is not the absence of fear, but a nudge that says, keep going, do it. Don't worry, all will be well. You have to be quiet enough to hear it. Dear Divine, may I feel your courage and your will. For some of my Aries, you guys might have some kind of, it almost seems like there's something that you guys want to accomplish, or there is some kind of situation that you're having to face that you're going to have to find that inner strength that you have to go out and do something. When I think of Aries, I always think of actual, oftentimes I do view quite a bit of Aries as courageous individuals in general anyway, along with, I almost feel like most fire signs can be very courageous. But for Aries specifically, I feel like you guys have a lot of courage. And then when I think about, Leos, they have a lot of strength. And then when I think about Sagittarius, I think they have a lot of endurance, things like that. For a lot of you guys are having to learn to find that inner strength, that inner courage that you have, that everyone possesses. And you're having to, I think for some of you guys, like it said, be silent, be quiet. Really allow yourself to find that within you. So here we have the Eight of Swords, the Empress, the Eight of Cups, the Universe or the World card. Woo! The Knight of Wands, the Chariot, and the Moon card. All right. For some of you guys could have had a lot of disappointments or a lot of things that have occurred in your life that perhaps made you guys feel in a way, not helpless, but perhaps just, it almost feels scary to get out of your guys' comfort zone. It almost seems like for some of you guys, you might have this fear of being judged. You might have a fear of failure. And I am sensing for some of you guys, this is something that you've been wanting to, that you have to, either the world has shown you. Oh, that's interesting. This also came out blocked. Okay. Ooh. There's a lot to say here. Oops. All right. So for some of you guys, this could potentially be a relationship that you could have had or still be having. But I always hate to bring in a whole relationship thing, but oftentimes everybody that we deal with is a relationship, right? But for some of you guys, this actually could have been a partner that a lot of my Aries have dealt with. And you guys could have caught this individual in a lie, which led you guys to really break down yourself, really put yourself down further. I think for some of my Aries, you guys have had a difficult life. And everybody has trials and errors in life, right? Life isn't meant to be completely easy, or else life would be boring. But for a lot of you guys, I was sensing that when it came to your home life, when it came to your relationships with those around you, you guys could have really had a lot of issues. You could have had a lot of people always using you, always expecting the best about you. They always want you to maybe go above and beyond for them, but when push comes to shove, nobody does it for you. It almost feels like for some of my Aries, you guys have very felt alone in the world. You guys have always felt like it was you against the world or you against other people. It always felt like there was always some form of burden that you've always had to experience. And for some of you guys, oh, I'm sorry, there are like people going past and my dogs are vigilant. But it almost seems like you guys have always dealt with people that were never truly there for you. And perhaps you've always find it hard to find people that have always that have been truly committed to you as well. You might have been around a lot of people that were very disloyal, that always keep things from you and always made you feel like you had to walk on eggshells, always had to be alone. For some of my Aries, because you've been dealing with people like this, you perhaps had to have the courage, or right now need to muster up the courage to perhaps leave a partner, to leave somebody. For others of you guys, it's having to have the courage to say enough is enough and having to find that real sense of self. Because I was feeling for quite a bit of you guys is you guys have put up with enough issues. You put up with enough people. You notice that things were not moving, things were not going along. You have, in a lot of ways, perhaps felt inadequate with people, circumstances, and situations, but you're now realizing that you can't put all of your eggs in one basket. You can't just always be there for one person but never expect them to change, never expect other people to do everything that you're hoping that they would. And for some of you guys, I am sensing as well that there's quite a bit of anger or resentment or just frustration that you might be dealing with or feeling. And it could be just due to the fact that it almost seems like you guys have almost given up in the world in a way, because yes and a no, because it almost seems like for some of you, because life could have been challenging, because you guys could have had a lot of things that have happened, a lot of people could have put my Aries down, that now you're having to get back up on your own 2 feet again. You're having to really find who you really are. For some of you guys, you're starting to figure out what you can contribute into the world, trying to figure out what is your sole purpose in life. And for some of my Aries, I'm sensing that you guys could really beat yourselves up over it, really thinking that perhaps you need to be better than what you are. It always seems like you're trying to strive to reach somebody else's expectations of you, but not realizing that those are those people's expectations. What is your expectations for yourself? And realizing who you really are. I think for a lot of you guys, because I'm sensing for some of you, and this is not going to be for all of you because this again is a general reading. For some of you guys, you could be getting a divorce, and because of that, this could be also a very difficult time for you guys, and you guys are really having to find that inner strength within yourself to be able to get past that divorce. You guys could have been dealing with people who are selfish, who are only thinking about themselves, who always put themselves before you, and because of that, it makes life really hard for you. And it feels like, for some of my Aries, it almost feels like it just has this sense of, I'm so tired. I'm so ready to just be done. And it really feels like that. It seems as though you're needing to find that courage, because for some of you guys, you might have a fear of losing a person, or you might have a fear of not being enough for somebody. You guys could probably always be judging yourselves and always looking down on yourself as well. We have here in the Chariot, it's in the reverse. It's like you're not going anywhere. It almost seems like you're spinning your wheels in circles, like you're just not moving forward, but you feel like you are, but you're not. And it's because it's almost like your mind might run a mile a minute, or because you feel like although you're trying to work something out with this person, it just never seems to work out. Because what happens here is I feel like for some of you guys, you're dealing with people that will not take accountability for their own actions and their own circumstances. You're probably dealing with people that always might put the blame on other people and might always put it at your door and expect you to pick up the pieces. You might also be dealing with family members that expect you to carry a lot of this burden, or to really make you get up and try and find ways to solve problems. And now you're having to have the courage to say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to pay attention to myself. For some of you guys are now really starting to know what it's like to, you're going to have to know what it's like to really start being there for yourselves. When we get stuck in situations or in circumstances where we feel like we have to be the person to keep strong in order for other people, sometimes we lose parts of ourselves that are actually valuable to society, that can actually contribute quite a bit. But because other people might have seen our light and might not have liked the idea that we can go further than them in life, people might put us down, people might abuse us, people might put us in circumstances and situations to where we might have failed. I feel like for some of my Aries, you guys might have a fear of putting yourselves out there in the world due to the fear of failure, perhaps because of a parent or somebody in your past or like childhood that might have set you up to fail several times. And for some of you guys, due to that, you have a fear that you're going to fail, that you're afraid to really put yourselves back out there. You're slowly, I feel like, picking up the pieces, and it's requiring you to slowly start to commit to yourself. I think for a lot of you guys, you're too loyal to other people that don't deserve it, Aries, and I think you're now having to find ways to become loyal to yourself. Do things that will bring you happiness, that will bring you fulfillment, because I feel like for some of you guys have always put other people ahead of you, and now it's time for you to put yourself in front. It's time for you to start being true and honest to yourself, because you deserve to be happy. And I think that for some of you guys, you're starting to kind of come to that realization. So here we have, I welcome blessings into my life. Be open to miracles today. You will experience a miracle each day you decide to let life love you a little bit more than before. Let the world start to see the real you, because the people that matter don't care, and those that care don't matter. I love that quote from Dr. Seuss, and I think that that's a really amazing quote. And that was the first thing that popped into my head the second I read that, because I feel like for some of you guys, you've allowed other people to influence you, which is nothing wrong with that, because all of us are guilty of that, right? But for you guys specifically, I think that it's starting to impede on even your own health, even your own mental health. I'm feeling for some of you guys, it's a lot of mental, you guys have a lot of fear of what others will think, or fear of what others might do as well. And you're having to learn to realize that you can't control other people, but you can control yourself, and you can control how much love you allow into your life on a daily basis. I am open and receptive to love. Life is always trying to love you, but you need to be open to see it. Complete this sentence. I could make it easier for life to love me by... And whatever, like, if you guys actually have a thought that popped into your head too, like when I read that, and you're like, oh, I could go and exercise more, or go and do this one hobby, or do something I like, do that, right? Follow your gut, because Aries have an amazing instincts. And I think that whatever your instinct tells you, Aries, you have to trust that. Because I feel like for some of you guys, you might question yourself. You might question your own reality. You might always feel like other people have a better grasp on life than you. But you're having to learn to stop relying on others people to find that within yourself. I live in a friendly universe. And here we have the universe card. And we have universe. Let life befriend you today. Every hour, on the hour, throughout the day, remind yourself, I live in a friendly universe. because you really do. It's the beliefs that we hold that shapes our reality, that shapes our universe, because everybody lives in a different reality. As crazy as that sounds, it's kind of true. The more you focus on one thing, that's what you're going to start seeing more of. And if you guys always think, yeah, whatever, I mean, you can always try it. Like, I've done this before and it actually kind of freaked me out, where I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to get coffee today. I don't care. I'm just going to assume I'm going to have coffee. And I would think about coffee for like 10 minutes and then I would let it go because coffee to me was insignificant. And then out of nowhere, I had a friend call me up and be like, hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee. It was so weird. But like, or you'll start seeing things. Like if you think about rainbows or you think about anything, you might start seeing it on like when you're scrolling through your phone or when you look outside, or people might start bringing up that conversation that involves that. It's kind of insane. So for some of you guys, you need to understand that whatever it is that you perceive about your reality is what makes that real to you. So if you want to change your reality, you need to start seeing, first off, how you view your reality is by how you view yourself. If you think that you aren't safe, then you automatically feel it that your external isn't safe. If you feel safe internally, then you're going to notice that your external starts to feel safe. But fear is there for a reason. But for some of us, there is reasons to where we don't really need to have the fear that we have, right? Some of our fear is irrational. If a lion's chasing you, then yeah, that warrants for actual fear. That's life or death situations. But when it's, oh, I'm afraid that this person's gonna hate me, that doesn't really bring you very much. That's not really actually going to harm you, really, you know? Unless, again, like this person's trying to kill you. But I doubt it. So learning to say it's okay to be yourself, learning to build up the courage and go out there. If you want to achieve a goal, Aries, you can achieve that goal. You don't need to hold yourself back so much from that goal. So here we have trust. You have a strong connection to your soul's loving voice and have faith in your intuition. Exactly. Trust yourself. Trust in your, because I keep feeling for some of you guys, you might be dealing with individuals that could be potentially gaslighting you. And that's not going to be for all of you guys, but like look up gaslight for some of you, because I'm sensing that for some of my Aries, you might be dealing with a person who's like making you question your own reality about situations or things, and that might be why you need the courage to face the truth about an individual or face the truth about yourself. Because for some of you guys, I think you're just having to really learn to trust yourself and trust the universe as a whole. Because I think for some of you, you guys have had experiences growing up that showed you the complete opposite, that, you know, you're not safe, life isn't safe, and perhaps you had a parent that's consistently worrying all the time, the woulda, shouldas, or what if this happens, or what if that happens, and oh my gosh, brace for impact, something bad's gonna happen. You don't always have to live in that perpetual state. And that's what I'm feeling for some of you guys is what you're really dealing with. So here we have tolerance. You appreciate other points of views because you sense the love in everybody. And when I hear things like this, yes, because for some of you as well, it always is good to see other people's points of views, but you don't always have to accept them as your own. You don't always have to take in and internalize that as the truth. Find the middle ground between you and another person, but also realize to yourself what is true for you. And here we have joy, but it's in the reverse, but it kind of came out like this. So for me, it's almost like the more you start to find that courage and the more you start to really grow as a person, it will start to shift upwards. Here we have joy. Be delight in the love of life and bring a spirit of fun to all you do. Exactly. If you can find, by trusting yourself, by exploring exploring parts of you, exploring areas of what it is, like even the darker sides of yourself, exploring all areas of you and coming at it from a non-judgmental space, you will start to find things that you might find joy. If you, for instance, have had joy as a child in, I don't know, playing an instrument or dancing, perhaps taking that back up again will be just the thing that you need to start to enjoy your life. Because for some of you guys, it feels as though you're living in a state of fear and you're living in a state of resistance. And the more you resist, it persists. And for some of you guys, learning to really let go of that fear, really learning to find what brings you happiness and joy is really it's what's going to fulfill you. And it's going to be a long journey, but it's going to be a journey that will have its gems, will have its moments of hope that will help you continue your journey. So for some of you guys, just learning to be kinder to yourself, learning to find what makes you happy, and forgetting about how other people feel about the circumstances. You can't make everybody happy, nor are you supposed to. You're only supposed to find what makes you happy. You're not accountable for anyone else's happiness or anyone else's misery. People might blame you for their misery. People might blame you for their you being an inconvenience to them, but really in reality, you're actually not the one that's inconveniencing them. That's just their perspectives that they hold. So, yeah, that's really all I have for my Aries. I hope that this resonates for you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be kind to yourselves. Thank you so much. Have a great and wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.